I would like to have a look at the bigger bearish picture for the DAX and for the FTSE, and we'll also look at the bullish pattern as well, and then you can decide what you think's right or wrong. We'll also be looking to short the market as well, because whichever way we want to look at it, we're still going to be coming down in a move here. So we can look at it in terms of the whole move up here as an impulse wave, as wave 1, and then pulling back for wave 2. So pretty much at the moment we have the A wave in here already, and we'll look at that, and then the B and the C. If we were looking at this as a bearish picture, we simply put the A wave up here and look for an A and a B and a C wave up here, and then we would come back down deeper at this point. So we can take a look at that too. Let's just go there now for this. And you know, there is a bigger bearish picture for the banks in the US, and that will drag the S&P 400 and the S&P 500 into that scenario. So it's possible. We've talked about this bearish picture before, but this is basically what it would look like here at this point. And in this case, we could just look at this as wave 1 here, and we'll take a closer look at this. We're just looking for a bit of a rally in here and then a move down. Either way, you know what I mean? So we need to be looking for the short trade at this point, which, you know, even if we're looking at the bullish picture, you know, here we'll look at the A wave here, the A and the B and the C here. Yeah, let's short this market at the right time. That's pretty much the gist of it. The bullish count on the 20k tick, all the sort of standard sort of stuff. Obviously, the European banks have got a bit more equity in there. They took a bit more of a lesson from the 2008 situation. So yeah, this is basically it here. We're looking at 5 waves down here for the A wave and ABC back here. So we're looking at this week, as I mentioned with the US video, have a look at the S&P. We're looking, the Nasdaq's going to lead us higher, and we should be up for, you know, 2 to 3 days to the upside here. So that's what we're looking at. At this stage of the game though, however, we can be short below this low here at this stage. I mean, you know, let's just let's have a look at the negative side. If we looked at this as wave 1 down here, then wave 2 here, then we would come down through that at that point. So that's possible. So we need to understand that we need to be short under group 2 here. So yeah, look, in a bit of a nutshell, we can look at this as 5 waves down as wave 1, or wave A and B to here, or wave 2 to here, and it may not come up that far. I mean, let's have a look at the 50-60%. Some large, it won't, you know, we can see that the 15,000 is starting to become the magnet for this area. So, you know, it's not going to go too far above that, whichever way you want to look at it. So the 50-60% is way up here. Will it get all the way up there? I don't know. I think that, let me just check here for a moment. I was looking at what's going on this week. Well, it's the equinox, which a lot of GAN traders will be looking at that, but that really just ties into the financial system as well. So we got some CPIs for the CAD. Okay, we got the CPI figures for the pound, the English side, on Wednesday, and of course on Thursday we've got the FOMC economic projections as well, and the Fed's funds rate and all of that sort of stuff happening at 2 p.m. On Thursday. So yeah, so that will probably be the turning point, I'd say. So let's just cut straight from the 20k all the way into the 1k and just pick up around this area here. So, like I said, we can look at it. Okay, I've got wave 1 here. So, I mean, normally 2, you know, I mean, it came down quite deep here. I wasn't expecting it to come down that deep, to be honest, but so it just shows a bit more weakness in there. But normally there's a bit of equality, just as a rule of thumb, from wave A to wave C here. So we'll just take that on board. But is that wave B or 2? I don't know, but we need to put that there. So now, I don't think anybody's still in that trade, are they? But anyway, instead of putting it here, we can put it here. And what we'll be looking for here will be, we'll just put this here. We'll just put this like this, shall we? It'll be something like that. So in terms of shorting it, if this is going to be bullish, let's just say it's going to be bullish because we want to see, you know, we want to understand the other side of the fence. So it would be in 3 waves if it's going to be bullish, wouldn't it? After we get 5 waves here, we've got wave 1 and 2. So let's just say that finishes off there. And yeah, so that means that in due course, we'll be able to lift it up under here, because we've got 3 waves here. So that would be corrective if that was taken off. But if it doesn't take that top out on the B wave here, it'll just retest here and drop at that point. So we want to be in there, and obviously coming down the bottom here is going to bounce around everything, but in a nutshell we want that whole area to become the resistance. So I won't go in and talk about it now, but you know, you don't want to sell when you arrive into this demand area here, because it's going to bounce back up, isn't it? So in a way there would be a bigger 5 waves roughly into this space here, you know, it'd be something like that, and then down at that point, something like that, you know what I mean? We'll make decisions as it happens, so to speak. But yeah, we can put that there, and we can just leave that there for the time being. And look at, I mean, what will happen is that it will just it'll all squash up when I close the platform, when you're on the tick chart anyway. So that's it in a bit of a nutshell for the DAX and for the FTSE here. This is a weekly chart here. There's 2 things that can happen here. We can have some sort of A wave, B wave and C wave down here for this, and then we just, you know, push up from that point. But in the bigger picture here, it's possible for it to move into this space down here. So that's a big difference from this place to this place. I mean, as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. So the only other way I could view this is just by putting this move up here as a smaller wave 1 here and smaller wave 2 here. This is what we're doing for the DAX in a way, you know. But looking at the US banking sector and the regional banking sector and BA and even the top tier banks, you know, they're a little bit bearish. So I don't think down here is out of the question, you know. So it's up for you to sort of mull that over, but that's what I've come to at this point. But once again, too, you know, any rally that comes off the lows here, you know, we need to be sort of all over this a little bit, don't we? So we can look to short it just in case there is some bigger picture coming down. You know, there's probably still some skeletons to fall out of closets in the banking finance sector and so on. Weekly chart, have I updated the daily chart? Okay, we can see here that, you know, we've been tracking this trend down all last week, haven't we? You know, so you know, do we you know, the DAX, I mean, this is the 50-60%, so we could put wave 2 there. We could go an A and a B and a C wave down here. We could do that. We've been talking about that. The DAX looks like it needs to come down further, so, you know, will this rally here and then and also come down further as well? You know, I mean, it's in that it's in this zone here now, which I think I'll just put there's going to be lots of support in here. This will be 71, 72 and 73 in here. That's all of group 1. So what I can say about this area here, it's going to be, what you see here is not what you get next. It's coming into support area here, so it's going to get bouncy here. But the question is in one way or another, however you look at this, will it come to here and then go up from that point, or will it go further down? So like I said, with the Nasdaq, with the stock market in general, we expect some of these banks, you know, Goldman's and Morgan's and Bank of America, to rally a little bit and then drop at that point. So that would be in line here. So I'm thinking that we will do the same thing here. We'll rally and then we'll drop. Okay, so That's what I'm sort of thinking at that point. I think we're working on the 5k tick chart here for this. Let me just, I could be wrong, but okay, this was our trend to the downside that would be working on. So yeah, well, there's a couple of ways we could look at this. Is we could put I mean, I probably need to drop it down another level. I think, you know, like putting this blue wave one over here, so to speak, using the blue ones here. But still, there's 5 waves. Now, this 5th wave here is a little bit small. So what could happen here is we could go 1 and just have a look at the 2 possibilities. 2 coming back up to some 50-60% as a wave 2, and then sort of 3, 4 and 5 coming down here for that, and then we could put wave 5, copy that and put that down here somewhere. That would be kind of realistic, and then we'll have a bigger correction up this point. I mean, they're not, you know, the FTSE and the DAX didn't turn at the same time at this high up here. They got, you know, they're doing their own sort of, they're doing their own thing in a way, you know. So but what we're kind of expecting from other places is that we have a bit more of a rally. We rally up here for a bit, and then we come down at this point. So, and I could relabel this a little bit differently, but it's not going to do much at this point. So I think what we do is we just wait. I'm pretty confident that we push up a little bit. Let me just have a look at what's going on in Asia. Well, we've got commodities up and banks will probably be a little bit softer. Oh no, they're pretty steady. The ASX 200 is up 1%, so we're expecting that to rally up, which is kind of like, see this pattern here. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty. That's pretty common around. We just had a look at it with the DAX, didn't we? And we talked about it going up here. So this is the same for the Australian market. So it's got this same pattern here. So we're expecting, even though the market's a little bit bearish, we're expecting it to, you know, rally off these lows here for a move up, for pretty much rallying up. Just generally speaking, for 3 to 4 days. That's what I'm sort of thinking, you know. But Thursday's going to be, I mean, for the pound anyway. For the sterling, we've got CPI figures on Wednesday. Oh, that would be my time actually, 3 a.m. Oh, that's probably US time. So yeah, so I think that everything is pretty much heading up until Thursday, until the FOMC federal funds rate, or the conference, the press conference, whatever they call it. So yeah, so I think we're going to rally. So there's no, I mean, obviously you can short it under here. That's not the issue at this point. I just think we need to be pushing up here a little bit further. We're not quite in sync with the other markets unless I've made a mistake with this. Anyway, it doesn't matter. We're going to rally. The Australian markets and the UK markets are, you know, they're kind of connected in a funny odd way to a point. So let's just leave this. We're going to be rallying up here, and then we're going to, tomorrow we'll start looking for here we can short under here. We're going to be lifting this short position up over time. Okay, over to the dollar, the US dollar. Now, it does appear we can get rid of one count here, because you know that I had like sort of 3 counts. So I can eliminate one of them. So I'm left with 2, but it's still not very helpful. We've either got wave A up here. So we've got the A wave here, and then we've got an A and a B and a C wave here. So a B wave down to here, we'll have a closer look in a moment, and then a wave C to the upside here. It's either that, or we've got this top in place already here for this. And there's a good case for that when we look at the Australian market, actually. And but not understanding this, it doesn't make it, you know, the problem with not understanding this situation here is that it's going to affect the euro dollar, whichever way I look at it, you know. So if I go here to, we've been working on a couple of different charts in the intraday, I don't know which is which, but okay, this is good. So we could look at this as the A wave here with a smaller a, an ABC for the B wave here, and then down for the C wave. So we can pretty much remove that wave 1. Not totally, I could put wave 1, I could put wave 2 just here on that, but it's really quite big compared to this, so I'm better off going with this. So we've either got, we'll just we'll make an assumption. We can either go with this coming down here and then going up at that point as the A wave, the B wave and the C wave here. That's one way to look at it. The other way to look at it is that we've got a top in place over here and we just continue to come down. But if we continue to come down, that's a little 5 waves here. So I could just copy text. We can put that, because it's B to C, it's going to be in 5 waves. So anything past this 5 waves that I'm drawing out now, then it's going to be bearish from that point. But it also too is that it doesn't matter that it's bearish because it's still going to have a rally at that point. Do you know what I mean? Because it's either wave 1 or wave C. So I can put this here, and where's that wave 1? So I could also put this down here as wave 1 here as well. And then that will take us back for wave 2 at this point. And then we go down. So we won't know for a while. We basically need for this to land here. But normally what I find, if we get from one point, wherever that may be, from here to the 61.8%, if we get 5 waves to that point, well then I would know that we're bearish. But because we're getting 3 waves to that point, it's probably more likely that we will be looking at wave 1 up here and wave 2 at this point. So that means that if this is going to come down here and then go up here, right, for wave C, if that is the case, well that means that the euro dollar is going to rally for the next few days or sessions or whatever, and then it's going to turn and go the other way. So when we look at the euro dollar here, because to be honest, I don't know what this is into, you know, if I don't know, I don't know, you know, and I'm happy with saying I don't know. I'd rather say I don't know. So in this case here, you know, we may have to put this wave C over here for wave B over here, which would then in turn equal this wave B over here, you know what I mean? And then we come down for this point. So yeah, it looks like it wants to go up higher, so we can remove that, and I'll just move that out of the way for a moment and bring this over here. And yeah, I just need to resolve this. It's not a big issue, but I'll just put the B wave here really. So yeah, I just don't know yet, you know. I can tell you that it's going up, right? But I can't tell you what the bigger picture is just yet, you know, because this needs to be resolved. I'm not seeing any answers with all of this. I mean, the only case I've got for this wave B to be in place over here as a top, or wave 2 over here, is by looking at things like the Australian dollar, you know. Because the Australian dollar looks like it's got a low in place. So there is a case for having a top in here. I just don't have enough evidence yet. So we'll just see how this unfolds here. But yeah, I mean, it's possible to have that B wave there as wave 2. So we need this to roll over to here, finish off, and then start to move up here, and then we've got to kind of figure out what we got at that point, you know. Because the move up here will send gold. I mean, gold's going up at the moment. Or gold's another one. Gold would be the Australian dollar, and gold would be suggesting that we've got a top in over here. So I'd like to put us long in this, but I can't. But as a short-term trader, you can go long up here, keeping the stop under probably here now at this point. And the pound, cable, sterling, wherever you are, however you call it, it seems to be doing all the right things as well. A bit like the Australian dollar, really. So I just sort of, well, look, the truth is that this 5-wave structure up here that we counted is either wave 1 or wave A. Okay? So we could count 5 waves up here, and it could be wave C up here as an ABC pattern here. It could be a wave C here. I'm thinking that we're going to go up further up here. I think that's this here. I think that's more the case. We go up here for that, but I can't prove that. You know, the only thing I've got going for a move up here is that if I just go back here to this over here, this move up here is in 3 waves. So to have this here as the A wave, the B wave, and a nice C wave down here, nice length compared to this structure and all those sort of things. So that's looking quite good to me, you know, as a wave 4 here, possibly a wave 2. That would put it in line with the Australian market actually. So yeah, it's possible at this point. So I wouldn't pay too much attention to this wave 1 business up there. That would line up with the tech stocks, but the Australian dollar, we're looking at that being in place there. So if I just bring up the Aussie for a moment, see with the Aussie, it's pulled back into its 50-60% here, and we watch 5 waves go up here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we watch the ABC, which is quite deep here. Then we've got our first little 5 waves up here. Then we went long here, and now we're waiting for this to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it could fail when it gets to here. You know, it could move back down from this point, but this is where we'll be adding on the B wave up here. If we get an ABC pattern here, then it's going to go up at that point and we'll be on it again. So it'll be interesting to see if we can get past, you know, to get past this thing here, this wave C here. That's what we'll try to get past. Otherwise this will be wave 1 here and wave 2 in here. So it's just a bit tactical, that's all, you know. Like I said, gold's the same as well, really. Having a low in place for this, and there's there's a good case for that. I mean, we'll just have a look at US spot gold, because it kind of ties in with the US dollar. So with this here, we've got wave 1 up here, and ABC back for wave 2, and then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the cable, the Australian dollar, the euro dollar, and all that will finish up here with this, and then we'll see if we get this. We've got a very small trade in here, but this is where we'll go for the bigger one here. But you know, it's a bit difficult to look at this as a B wave up here. It's a nice clean top up here, so it's more like, and the speed at which this is going is more like that it's in, you know, in an impulse wave rather than a corrective wave. I can just scrape 5 waves out of here if I look at little 1 and 2 in here. So I have pulled it apart here, but we'll see. It could be a big B wave up here, and then we have a C wave over here for this coming back over here. It's possible. That's why we've got to get past certain hurdles here. So looking at this here as 1, 2, 3, 4, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here, and then getting the ABC pattern, and then building in long trades over here for that. That will take us away from this being a B wave up here, which would be the A wave, the B wave, and then we'll count this a bit differently as one. Anyway, I won't go into that just yet. We'll just put that up there. But it is good to know that, you know, that on gold and the Australian, you know, gold here, once we get to the top here, have an ABC, if that's triggered at this point, then we know that we're on our way at that point. You know, we know that the dollar is weak at that point. You know, that's more importantly, you know, we know that if that's triggered here, then it's highly likely that this will be down for 1 here, back for 2 here, and then down again at that point, you know. And that puts us in a trend at that point. That's pretty exciting, I'd say, at that point. So look, it may happen, it may not, but that's our trigger to You know, that's our point in the wave that we're going to surf. Anyway, sorry for the sidetrack, and sorry for that on that one there. So yeah, the pound is like the same as the Aussie, really. You know, so we'll just see how it plays out. But we can expect, you know, I mean, we'll pull this apart over the next day or two, so we'll try to find the most conservative minimal 5-wave structure to the top here, see what that looks like. I mean, look, basically number 3 here, 123, is the top of a group 1, so we could expect, you know, something like this here. And if it does this here, just like the gold market and the Australian dollar, we can go long at that point. That's the safe trade to the upside. It's either that or it's going to fail, and it just takes a little while to unfold itself here. You know, it'll be a thin line to walk, but we shouldn't have too much problems in deciphering this as a classic trading levels pattern. So yeah, so that's it. I'll leave it at that. So thanks for tuning in. Cheers.